have a gaming Saturn now that I was a big fan of. Big fan of the Mega Drive version, and obviously this is 3D version, and it is NHL 97. So we'll just start this up. Put many hours into the Mega Drive game. It's one of my favourites at the time. So we'll just skip the intro. Turn the sound down a bit. So it's a completely different, layout, presentation, whatever you want to call it. So we'll go exhibition. Period length 5 minutes. I probably won't play a whole match because they are pretty long. Turn the penalties off. Right, let's get down to business. Detroit versus whoever the other team was. I think it was Florida. So yeah, I'm a fan of hockey games.
Hi, I'm John Davidson for EA Sports. Tonight's game comes from the Joe Louis Arena, where the Detroit Red...
So there's a lot of razzmatazz about the presentation. You got this guy, whoever the fuck he is, but we'll just skip him, he just chats shit. Bit of loading. Yeah. Right. So let's start. So it's a bit crap how there's no referee to like drop the puck in at the face-off. I've actually been playing this. I've just been waiting for the camera to recharge because my RF cable failed, so I can't record Saturn games that way. So I was waiting for my camera for the battery to recharge, and I just stuck this on, thought I'd get a bit of practice before recording the video. And I find that essentially the gameplay is pretty much the same as the 16-bit versions. But I was a bit disappointed that you can't just get a fully top-down camera angle. I mean, if we look at the cameras, the closest you're going to get to a fully top-down view is that. So it's kind of similar to 16-bit, but I just want the camera to kind of stay more static and not move in, because it gets a bit, the camera gets a bit jerky. I mean, you don't really notice any kind of frame rate faults in the gameplay. It seems, very responsive. The body checks are as satisfying as they usually are in the EA hockey games. One thing I was disappointed at was I managed to play for about 20 minutes and I didn't see one fight. That was an awesome thing about the original EA hockey, was the amount of fights. There's just fighting constantly in it, and that was pretty good fun. I mean, on this you can turn fights on and off, but I'd like an option to make them more frequent. Well, it's nice to do a bit of body checking. So there's a good, mediocre crowd sounds, but there's a good little tunes and that get played on the organ or whatever it is. I assume it's just played over a loudspeaker system these days. Unfortunately, the crowd isn't animated, it's just a static, blurry mess. It's a pretty slick game apart from the odd jerkiness of the camera. Unfortunately, I've just let a goal in. Oops. It's definitely a lot easier to score in this game than, for instance, the NHL 2K series on the Dreamcast. Which is a bonus because I always like to win by a decent margin. Just equalise there.
Goal scored by number 22, Dino Cicerelli.
So you got a bit of commentary, but it's minimal, and it's not really CD quality because obviously when they only had a CD to play with, they had to compress the audio a bit, which is a shame. You could also drop your player to the floor to like perform a block. Pretty much the standard fare that you expect from a ice hockey game, really. So I'm going to slap this in and try with the assist, but the first time shot didn't quite pan out how I wanted it to. These motherfuckers. Have that. Come on, get in a decent position then, you faggots. One thing that I did find quite annoying first time I played it, the players that aren't on the puck don't seem to be looking at the puck. So when you switch to the nearest player, they often seem to be just in a random generally opposite direction to where the puck is. So you have to kind of spin round and hope for the best. Usually the opposition gets there first though. I can't help feeling at this level of 3D game that they shouldn't have moved to 3D on sports titles like this. I think that the 16-bit versions are just a lot smoother. The gameplay's more fluid. I mean, this is playable, but I'm just saying, you know. Probably NHL 97 on the Mega Drive I would say is 10 to 20% more playable, just because it's not really pushing the limits of the hardware, which this game kind of is. Also got your, your like little reach in to, and that's like some kind of little hook shot. I don't know. Let me see what use that is. So nice little body check. Wait for someone to get into a decent position, but the opposition's got me. So as with any hockey game, you play 4 periods. Got that guy at half time, fuck him off. But I probably won't get to the end of this period, just because there's not really much more to say other than you know, it's your kind of standard ice hockey fare, playable. Graphics aren't too bad. The occasional bit of slowdown on the camera, but yeah, it's responsive. It's playable. be good in multiplayer. There's plenty of modes, there's like, you know, tournaments, playoffs, all that stuff. Yeah, it's extremely cheap, as you imagine, with most sports titles. So if hockey's your bag, then it's definitely one to check out. Stole it from me. Doing well when I was playing it and not recording.
Number 44,
Curse of the
Rob
commentary.
Niedermeyer, assisted by Radek Dvorak.
Yeah, sure. Stop gloating. What a rocket that was. Didn't go in though. Nice steal there. He's taking everyone on. Is he going to score? Hell no. Cut this back. Oh, your teammates just don't get into the right areas quick enough. They need to be, you know, if they're real life players, they'd be charging into decent areas, waiting for the assist. But they're not real life players. They're just dumb as shit, Saturn programmed players. It does get a bit hectic sometimes, hockey, when you get a load of players close to the goal mouth and you're just smashing the C button in hope that you'll get a shot in that will make it into the back of the net. So as I'm getting absolutely nailed for some reason, I'm going to wrap up the video, but you know, I'm enjoying playing this game. It's quite playable. Maybe the PlayStation port's a lot smoother. Most PlayStation ports are this ilk of games, so it's definitely one worth checking out if you're into the old sports titles and you're into ice hockey games.